right, welcome in. Welcome into the Daily Fix on Black Friday. Yes, we are still in here working on Black Friday. It's game day. Hell, this is a bit of the pregame show for you. Is this the first pregame show we've ever had on Foolish Club Media?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I
We
guess
don't
so.
normally
Yeah.
have time to do pregame shows.
All right, we'll see how this goes. We might have to check in, but yes, we are here. Big day as the Chiefs take on the Raiders. The lone game today in the NFL. They're going to try to go to 11-1, and if you watch any of the games yesterday, you want to make sure that you take this one serious because it could get away from you. But again, happy holidays to everybody. However you're taking us in, if you're on YouTube, we appreciate it. If you're on Twitter, however you're finding us, please like, share, let other people know. We're doing it every day, the Daily Fix at 12 Central Standard Time. Come check us out. One thing I do need you to do if you have not done so, please head to our YouTube channel, hosted by Foolish Club Media. YouTube channel, Foolish Club Media. Like and subscribe. And remember, if you do not do so, you're preventing my 3 children from eating. I'm not going to hold you too long, so you get you ready for this game that's starting up here in about in just under 2 hours. But the dumbass Bears, they finally did something right, but it's too damn late. And for me, with the Chiefs in particular, a part of their team, this is the last stand before I start looking at them different. And some of you may feel differently already and have done it. But I want to start here, give you my 2 minutes. That juice, baby. That juice is back that the Chiefs need. That juice is back, Serta, that the Chiefs need. Charles Omenihu, and to me, more importantly, Isaiah Pacheco. And hopefully explosiveness in the run game is back. And to see what it's going to look like with these talented guys that they have in the backfield. Now to add the explosive player that can do it all, catch the ball, run the ball, and Isaiah Pacheco to go along with the power back that can do it all. I just think at a lower rate in Kareem Hunt, and then Shamaje Perine, who is really good out of the backfield, catching the ball. It should be fun to see. But Steve, to me, the biggest thing about this, and this has kind of not been talked about when, down the stretch of this year, you start to think about like players that add juice, that just like that bring that extra something that not only just has the speed and the ability to make big plays, but there's something coming along with it. I think that's the thing. Hollywood Brown, to me, is a juice player. Isaiah Pacheco is a juice player. Like they lost, Rashee Rice adds juice to the offense. Not that they're just good, but there is juice that they bring to the table. They're getting one of those guys back. They had lost 3 of those type players that were vets in the league that knew what they were doing in the offense and could roll. And now it felt like maybe Xavier Worthy was the only one that brings some sort of a juice to this team. And now you get one of those guys back. Shout out to Uncle Poncho and my cousin LaRon. We're at Thanksgiving yesterday, and they're shouting out craziness. I think Kareem Hunt should be the number 1 back, even when Isaiah Pacheco comes back. Like, let's calm that down. All right, love you, Uncle Poncho. Love you, LaRon. Y'all are insane on those comments, and you'll miss it, and you'll understand. You'll see, I don't know how much he's going to play today. I'm sure he's on a pitch count, but to see that explosive, in my mind, I envision one of those big 10 to 15, 20-yard runs where he gashes off. He maybe carries somebody, Serta, and he gets up and he's going nuts. And that juice that the Chiefs have sorely missed on offense and explosiveness in the run game is back. I'm excited, and the Chiefs need this spark or this punch.
Yeah, they just need some speed. Like, Worthy hasn't totally translated in that way to the NFL yet, and Kelsey and Hopkins are slow. Like, they just desperately need somebody who can rip off a 35-yard game because they cannot do it right now, and it's going to add a totally new dimension to this offense if Isaiah Pacheco looks totally healthy. But this is an injury that generally takes a little bit of time to like get back up to speed from. So we'll see how much he plays today.
Yeah, I'm sure this won't be, he won't be up to regular. Hell, he might not be up to where they had planned him. He may not ever get to that with the emergence of Kareem Hunt, using both of them to get fresh. But it will be a couple of weeks. But you just need to see the glimpses of that juice that they've been missing. All right, Steve, for me, this is the last stand with this defense. And what I mean by that, I'm not saying I'm quitting or giving up on the defense. And sort of you might already be at this place. All right, they were so good for so long. And I understand the Jalen Watson situation has been the injury, but if you have listened to this show, we've made it very clear that that's part of it, but that's not all of it. Now they're adding not only Pacheco on offense, but Charles Omenihu returns, so that in some way should help and give him another body across that D line. I mean, the last time he played, he was sacking and stripping Lamar Jackson in the AFC Championship game for one of the biggest plays of that game. So that is going to be a big thing. But Serta, for me, this is the last stand for me before I start to expect Andy to adjust how he goes about his business with this team, and even with Spags. I think Spags needs to make adjustments anyway with what he has in the back end. But what I mean from Andy is, to me, my expectations will start to be, all right, Andy, you cannot operate as if you have a great defense. Like you have to now at this point. This is the last stand. If they come out here and Aiden O'Connell, which, to be honest, Serta, if you watch it, I've watched the last several games that Aiden O'Connell has started the most. You know who he loves to target? Tight ends and running backs. And that seems to be the last game they played where he was the full starter against the Steelers. He had 25 targets to tight ends and running backs in that game. So that is usually a weakness for the Chiefs. But if they come in here and let the likes of Aiden O'Connell and Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers and whoever the hell else they're rolling out there, if they allow if they allow this group to look anything like the Bills and the Panthers, it's the last stand for me. And to me, now that looks at Andy, you got to operate and go and be more aggressive on offense. You got to operate saying, not now, if I get to 21, I'm good, but now I got to get to 28. I got to get to 27, 28 points. You got to be more aggressive. You got to go for more fourth downs. You can't just accept field goals. By the way, you're on your third kicker, so maybe you need to be a little bit aggressive on that anyway. What the hell's happening in practice that kickers are tearing hamstrings? But whatever. But so I think, to me, I'm going to give them one more shot. But if we come out here and they can't get off the field on third downs and Aiden O'Connell's tearing them up or whatever, and they give up points, like, no. And maybe I should already be there because the Buccaneers went up and scored 24 on them without receivers. And we watched the Bills. They couldn't get off the field. And you know, they don't have great receivers. We watched last week a career day from Bryce Young and that group, and they ain't got nothing special. So I'm giving them a shot here. But after this, if it's starting to look more of what it was and they don't get home and not – all right, then you have to adjust this, and this has to become more of an offensive-led team.
Yeah, it's been 4 straight games now where the defense –
Are you there? Are you there, by the way, Serta? Are you there in that you think Andy could completely change how he operates with this defense? Or
I'm not totally sold on the idea that like Spags can't turn this thing around for the defense, but it's going to take him making some adjustments. But yes, they should stop operating as if, okay, we just need to have a lead late in the fourth quarter and then our defense will put it away, because we've got 4 straight games. And it's not like, you know, yes, one of those games was against the Bills, but the other one was Baker Mayfield without all of his star players. The other one was Bo Nix and then Bryce Young. Like, these aren't quality. This isn't quality competition that you can't get off the field against late in the fourth quarter. So that means it's time to make some adjustments. That means it's time to change up the game plan and go out and try to put up points and be aggressive that way instead of being conservative the way Andy Reid has really been the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, listen, they're top 10 in a lot of categories, including 3rd overall in total defense, 3rd in rushing defense, top 10 in points, giving up under 20 a game. But that's not what this defense has shown the last 4 or 5 weeks, the last month plus. And at some point, you just got to accept what it is. The Chiefs did that last year, and they may have to do that again this year with this defense. But I'm giving you one more opportunity, because after this, sir, I'm like, all right, man, you can't just kick them. You got to change the way you operate. All right, finally, I know the Chiefs get ready for the Raiders, but big news out of the NFL and it shouldn't be surprising. And by the way, this is the first time in the long storied history of the Chicago Bears that they have fired a head coach in midseason, and they have done that with Matt Eberflus. And this, according to a lot of sources, but this here from Ian Rappaport, NFL Network, the Bears coach Matt Eberflus has been fired after an ugly loss against the Lions, the team's sixth loss in a row. Chicago now has the NFL's third coaching vacancy. This had to happen. They had already fired the offensive coordinator, and you knew probably that Eberflus was going to get fired at the end of the year anyway. But yesterday was the dumbest thing I think I've ever seen. I'm not kidding you, on a football field. And if you missed it, they're in borderline field goal range, just taking a sack, but still in borderline field goal range. And they've got a 3rd and 20, and it's 33 seconds left once the sack occurs. They've got a timeout, and they wasted so much time that they snapped the ball with a timeout with 6 seconds left. And then they didn't even all run to the end zone for a Hail Mary. It was the dumbest thing. You knew that his time was in. It was just win. And they allowed him to fly home. They allowed him to do that press conference, which he sounded even dumber. But listen, he should get fired. But my thing, Serta, is there has to be somewhere between 55 and 70 other dumb people on the sidelines and on the field for the Chicago Bears that nobody is yelling, timeout, timeout. There's not a guy running up. You got one. Or someone on the field yelling timeout to do something at some point. And like none of I've watched it so many times, sir. I don't even see anyone on the sideline yelling for timeout. I see people saying hurry up or whatever. Nobody, it's like, and then this fool, Caleb Williams, who I'm not putting a lot on, this is a rookie quarterback that nobody's yelling for him to call timeout. This nut changes a play. He doesn't even get him back on the field. He said he changed the play. It was ridiculous. And Eberflus' explanation afterwards was ridiculous. His thought was, sir, all right, I just wanted us to re-rack the same play we had just run that got a sack. And we're going to do it again, and we're going to try to throw it and get tackled and call a timeout to use our timeout to kick it. Cool. But once you saw at 22 seconds or 23 seconds that nobody seemed to have an understanding of doing what it is that you've just planned in your head to do, that you've not conveyed to anybody else, and you clearly saw people walking slow and confused, call a damn timeout. Like, it was just so many things that could happen. And there were so many idiots across representing the Chicago Bears. I did not see one person on the sideline yelling timeout.
It was embarrassing, and I just don't understand. Like, I think the Bears should probably fire Ryan Poles, too, honestly. I don't think he's done a particularly good job as a general manager, but I just don't understand the thought process of even bringing him back. You could have went out and gotten Jim Harbaugh, who is already turned the Chargers around, and has me, I don't think the Chargers are a problem this season. But here in the next year or two, the Chargers are going to be a legitimate problem because Jim Harbaugh is an excellent coach and Justin Herbert looks like a different player who finally has somebody who is making his life easier. And what the Bears did to Caleb Williams this season is unbelievable. Like, to do that to a rookie quarterback and put him in such a bad situation with such bad coaches is unreal. And it's why Ryan Poles probably deserves to be fired too.
He might. The Shane Waldron thing, you bring him in. I don't know whose call that was. I don't know if he allowed Eberflus to do that, but you bring him in, and they decided to keep him. They finished the year decently, and his defense was good last year. But I'm with you. He's not a head coach. He had been proven that. And by the way, the last name Eberflus, that's just not a good head coach name. So that was never going to work. So I'm with you. I think many ways you can look, and he has done a good job in terms of personnel that they brought over there. Now, their offensive line play hasn't been as good as they thought, but the way they got Caleb and the trade with the Panthers and all the things they've got some good talent. So we'll see. But if you want to get rid of all of them, that's cool. I can understand that. because that was just stupid. And you're right, Jim Harbaugh was out there. There were so many options, so many different places that they could have gone than just to keep Matt Eberflus. Bye, Mom. Hi, Mom. Hi, Courtney.